It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222, your emails at randywangradio@gmail.com, and search for the KABC News Blitz wherever you get your podcasts. And I know you're on YouTube all the time. I'm on YouTube all the time. Give me a follow on my new channel at Randy Wang Radio. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so I'd really appreciate the subscribe. It's mostly food pictures and food videos, so you'll enjoy it. This is the last show that I will be doing before Thanksgiving. I'm going to be off next week. You're going to hear best of the news blitzes most days next week. I think there's a football game on Monday, so you'll be able to enjoy that. But it is that time of year where, I mean, let's just face it, the year is over. We've got Thanksgiving, so nothing's going to get done next week. And then people come back to work for 3 weeks? And you've got Christmas parties and family gatherings. And 3 weeks after that, it's all over. The year will be done. And for me, there is a lot to look forward to in the next few weeks. Because on top of being here and doing this job, which I am so lucky to do, and one of the things I am definitely thankful for, of all the things that I'm thankful for, and it's a good practice around Thanksgiving to remember that very simple skill. Remember what you're thankful and what you're grateful for. I am so grateful that I get to do this job every day. It's a dream come true. 20 years in the making, I definitely put in the work, but it's not just work. It's a lot of luck that gets you to certain places and being at the right place at the right time. So I'm incredibly thankful that I get to do this. I'm incredibly thankful of my life and my current situation in life. I'm thankful of my marriage. I'm thankful of my friends and my family and my dogs. And we'll even throw in the cat. But I get really excited about the end of the year because ultimately for the past 7 years, no, I think it's the past 8 years. Yeah, I think it's the past 9 years. For the past 9 years, I have spent Thanksgiving in Santa Fe, New Mexico. It was something we did when my in-laws bought their house out there in, I want to say 2016. So we've been doing Thanksgivings out there for 9 years. Before that, we do Thanksgivings at our parents' house in Dallas, and that was fun. Before I met my wife, remember growing up doing Thanksgivings at my grandmother's until she passed. Then we did them at my grandfather's until he passed. And it's a really special time to get together with family, to see everybody, and to all sit around the table and enjoy some good eating. And part of what's so fun to look forward to at Thanksgiving is not just the meal, but the whole process of how everything comes together, because you have the literal definition of too many cooks in the kitchen on most Thanksgivings. And that is why my job at Thanksgiving, even though I am very creative, even though there's plenty of things I would love to cook and I'd love to prepare, I do a lot of cooking throughout the year. What I do on Thanksgiving, and I've done this for a few years and it really works out, I'm in the kitchen the whole time, but there's no dish that I'm specifically responsible for. I will help sous chef anybody. I will wash all the dishes, which if you can be the person in your family that volunteers to not only wash the dishes at the end, but get them going throughout the day, like try to constantly be getting those dishes going so they're not overwhelming you when everyone's full of turkey and wine and no one wants to do anything. But if you're that person, you're going to be the hero in your family. But not only that, I'm the person that I am putting together the exact timing for when everybody needs the oven. The house in Santa Fe only has one oven. It's a pretty big one, but for the amount of dishes when you're doing a dinner for 10 to 12 to 14 people, sometimes there's just not enough oven space for everybody. So I do my best to try to organize. I try to do my best to be like, okay, that needs to get in the oven now. And ultimately, even though you try to go for a start time around 2 o'clock, it always ends up being around 3. You try to do your best, but things fall behind. But that is my job. That is what I do. So there's no specific Thanksgiving dish that I can say, that is my thing. Now, you might say, oh, you don't do a turkey? Well, I have had some success smoking turkey breasts, and I really like doing that on my Traeger, and it's way easier than you think. If you have time to brine, great. If you don't, slather it in mayonnaise. If you're on a diet, slather it in mustard, salt and pepper, and put it in a smoker at 225 with the skin off, because you don't really need it unless I don't for a turkey breast. Like a turkey breast split, I don't do it with the skin on because you're going to get this kind of bark. It's not really like a brisket bark, but it's a pretty good bark. But I'll smoke it at 225 till we get up to about 165. Simple. Pull it off. Now, if you are doing poultry with skin on the smoker, you get it to about 150, then you crank up the temperature to 375, and then you will get a crispy skin. But we don't usually worry about cooking or smoking a turkey. If you plan ahead in advance, what my wife's family has done for years now, is they have gotten a smoked turkey shipped from the New Braunfels Smokehouse in New Braunfels, Texas, which is the home of the Comal River and the massive water park Schlitterbahn, the thing that I know New Braunfels for more than those things, as much as I did love tubing. I think I'm too old for it, which is weird because I'm only 40. But I love that place. I love their sausages. I've been ordering sausages from them for years. But at Thanksgiving, you pull out that New Braunfels Smokehouse smoked turkey. You don't have to cook anything. You're just defrosting it a couple of days before and letting it come to room temp. So that takes some great oven space. And if you like smoked meats, which, most of my wife's family is from Texas, so of course they like smoked meats, you can't beat a smoked turkey. There are plenty of ways to do a great roasted turkey, and nothing against that. But I really love smoked turkey. If I was going to roast turkey, I would just do turkey breast because I'm really good at that. But that's the main event, and it's always a winner, and I look forward to that smoked turkey every year. When it comes to the sides, it's one of the fun parts about Thanksgiving, because all the sides are competing for each other. And if you're in my household, a couple of the sides need to be made a couple of different ways, because you're going to have your classic French bread stuffing, which is great. And my sister-in-law, who's from New Orleans, will make a very classic Cajun style with andouille stuffing, or I guess they call it in the South, dressing, with French bread. Very, very good. But my wife can't have that. So for many years, we also do a gluten-free stuffing, or we'll do stuffing muffins. Last year, it was really easy because there's a gluten-free bakery in Santa Fe called Revolution Bakery, and they were advertising on Instagram that they did gluten-free stuffing. So let's just buy that. But I like when we do stuffing muffins with polenta and Spanish chorizo, and maybe like cranberries. Oh, that's really, really good. I know it's kind of a mainstay, but as much as I enjoy sweet potatoes, traditional like sweet potatoes at Thanksgiving with the marshmallows on top, not my thing. I prefer savory sweet potatoes. I prefer sweet potatoes that have got some chipotle chilies in them. You know, like the ones that you get at the grocery store, the chipotle with the adobo. Yeah, you put that with some sweet potatoes and maybe some Greek yogurt on top or some sour cream. That is wonderful. Of course, you're going to have some kind of cranberry dish, whether you're just opening up the can or you're doing fresh cranberries. My mother-in-law does a cranberry relish with like fresh oranges, and it's always a winner. It's always a big hit. Green beans, yeah, you got to have some kind of green on the dish. And it's funny, sometimes if the greens are prepared really well, and my wife's cousin, she's expert at making like this herbed salad where it's got parsley and cilantro and dill, and it's just in the right kind of flavoring. It flies off the shelf. It might be the first thing that gets finished at the Thanksgiving buffet. But yeah, you can do your classic green bean casserole, or if you're trying to be a little lighter, just do green beans almondine, or just sauteed green beans. Nothing wrong with that. I think we did a broccoli once where we did broccoli and lemon and Parmesan. And you've got gravy, of course, which if you're not making a turkey from scratch, you're going to have to figure out what exactly you're doing for gravy. But we always find a way. It's usually the thing that we forget about till it's almost time for food. It's like, oh, wait, we got to do gravy. What are we kidding? You need to have that sauce. It's one of the beautiful things about the Thanksgiving plate, that everything just kind of goes together. All these different kinds of sides and meals, they're all on one plate, and they're probably all good with gravy. Maybe you've got rolls. That's good with the gravy too. It's a special meal. I'm going to try my hardest not to overeat this year because I've made quite a lot of progress. I don't know if you're aware of this. I've lost 60 pounds this year. I hit the 60 mark a couple of days ago. I'm working on a video about that probably later today. So you can check that out on my YouTube channel. But so I'm going to try to just do, usually I'm the first one to go back for seconds. And I'm probably the first one to go back for thirds. But I can't do that. I could, but I don't think I need to. I eat a lot slower now, and I savor the food that is on my plate, and I'll probably be making a lot smaller of a plate. And, I don't need to scarf down all the food because the leftovers will be great for so many different things. When I was young, the thing I used to love was Thanksgiving turkey, great. But when we would make leftover Thanksgiving turkey sandwiches, that I liked even more. With all the roasted turkey cut up into little pieces and really simple, nothing fancy, just a hot dog bun and mayonnaise and fresh turkey. Oh, that used to be my jam. Then there was one Thanksgiving where how would I describe her? She's my wife's aunt, and she's from New Orleans. And there was a bunch of leftover turkey after Thanksgiving. So she took that turkey and she made a turkey gumbo from scratch. And it was the first time I had ever heard the word roux. I didn't know what a roux was, but I enjoyed it. It was really, really good. I have made a gumbo or two in my day, and it takes me an hour to get the right kind of color of a roux. That is a lot of stirring, but it is always worth it. Even though there are other Cajun dishes that are a lot easier to make, a good gumbo, a good turkey gumbo. Oh boy, there's just so many things that you can do. My mother-in-law will take the carcass and make a broth out of that and then save that for all kinds of other things. Got to do the whole buffalo. But of course, you have your main meal and then you have the desserts. And when we're in Santa Fe, there's so many places where you can get great dessert. But there is a bakery called Chocolate Maven, and they have so many good pies. We've ordered them in advance because it can get kind of crazy on there at Thanksgiving. But we have gotten their cherry pie. It's great. Apple pie is great. Of course, you're going to need either a pecan pie or a pumpkin pie, but they had this red chili pie that was to die for. Because New Mexico, you got a red chili everything, and it's always good. It's the right kind of savory with just a little spicy. It's going to be great. But again, I'm trying to be very, very good. I'm only going to have a little wine and maybe one piece of pie. I want everyone else to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy being there. I'm not going to suffer. I'm going to have a good meal. I'm just going to be responsible. And I can't wait. Now, of course, there are some people that travel for Thanksgiving. Some people get on the road and they drive. Some people fly. I'm a flyer. Some people stay home and people come to them. Either way, it's a wonderful day. It's a wonderful gathering. And I just really, really, really enjoy it. Plus, it's like you have Thanksgiving, you have the whole family there. And then I'm not really so much of a Black Friday shopper because I don't usually need things, although I might be talking out of turn. Let's just say with the weight loss, now I need to buy a whole bunch of new clothes. I am checking Black Friday deals on certain jackets. Okay, so there's this jacket that I love from Ralph Lauren. I own it, but I bought it at a DXL, a big and tall store, when I was bigger and I was taller. So I own that jacket in a 2XB, and it still fits. Like it's a jacket where you're not going to really notice that it's too big. But when we were at Macy's the other day at the mall, I tried on the same jacket, the beaten quilted jacket, and I tried it in an XL. It fits so nicely. Oh, I want it. I want it badly. But that jacket is $298. No, there's no way I'm not buying that. But I am constantly looking on the Macy's website or the Ralph Lauren app to see if it ever goes on sale. Because what I would do is I'd keep my old jacket and have it live in Santa Fe since we're there all the time and it gets cold. But yeah, I'm keeping an eye on that. But when you're in New Mexico and you're in Santa Fe the day after Thanksgiving, that's also when they do the Christmas tree lighting. And what they do in Santa Fe is the big plaza with all the trees. They dress them all up in different colored lights. It's such a beautiful thing. They do a big countdown. Everyone in town shows up and it lights up and it's the most beautiful thing. I kid you not. A couple of years ago, we had snow start falling the second they turned the lights on. It was wonderful. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about Thanksgiving. If you are excited about the upcoming Thanksgiving, maybe you're traveling, maybe you're hosting family, you want to share what you're going to be doing. Also, let's settle this debate. Roasted or smoked? How do you like your Thanksgiving turkey? Maybe you like it a different way. I don't know. 800-222-5222. 1-800-222-5222. You want to share what you're doing for Thanksgiving. You want to share a special side dish that you love. You want to tell me if smoked or roast turkey is better. The phone lines are open. You want to tell us just on the air what you're thankful for this year. We're celebrating Thanksgiving because this is my last show of the week, and I'm going out of town tomorrow, and I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. So let's enjoy the last 35 minutes we have together of this week and get on the line right now. 800-222-5222. 1-800-222-5222. If you want to share what you're doing for Thanksgiving, you want to talk turkey, give us a call. 800-222-5222. 1-800-222-5222. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. We're taking your phone calls at 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. Thanksgiving is next week. Are you traveling? Are you hosting people? What do you like? Smoked turkey, roasted turkey? Let's settle that debate. I prefer smoked turkey, but there's no wrong way here. 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to Dan in Huntington Beach. Dan, hello.
Hey, Randy. Yeah, I actually prefer barbecue turkey. I use a kettle, the Weber kettle grill. I put the charcoals on either side for indirect heat. I douse the bird with Lawry seasoning salt, stuff the cavity with ground cinnamon, cinnamon sticks, apples, sweet onions, garlic, and I put it on the Weber with and periodically throw on soaked hickory chips and fresh rosemary on the directly onto the coals. And until the bird is done. And when it comes out, Also, I flip the bird upside down to make sure the dark meat juices flow into the breast. And when it comes out, I let it rest for a while. When we go to carve, it's some of the moistest, juiciest, most flavorful breast I've ever had in my life.
That is brilliant. Flipping the turkey upside down so all the fat from the dark meat flavors the white meat. This is why barbecue guys are scientists. I love that. That sounds delicious.
Absolutely, sir.
Well, thank you so much for the call, Dan. Appreciate it. All right, Dan likes to smoke his own turkey in the Weber. I'm not that much of an expert. I can do the Traeger because the Traeger is set it and forget it, and I love it. But I don't know anything about like maintaining a specific heat level on a smoker by adding in fire. I have it so where it's all kind of automated. Still works though. I was drooling at a picture of a brisket I made last year today. You can see that video on my YouTube channel at Randy Wang Radio. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. It's Thanksgiving. You got a side that you love to make? Give me a call. You want to tell me if you prefer roasted or smoked turkey? Give me a call. You want to tell me what you're thankful for? It's all good. The lines are open. Give us a call. 800-222-5222. 1-800-222-5222. If you're on hold, stay there. We'll get to more of your calls in just a minute. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-5222. 1-800-222-5222. Your emails at randywangradio@gmail.com. Give me a follow on YouTube at Randy Wang Radio. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And search for the KABC News Blitz wherever you get your podcasts. Thanksgiving is in 6 days. How are you celebrating? Are you going out of town? You bringing family in? Do you prefer smoked turkey? Do you prefer roasted turkey? What's your favorite side? Let's talk turkey. 800-222-5222. 1-800-222-5222. If you want to share how you're celebrating Thanksgiving. What are the traditions in your family? 800-222-5222. Let's go to John in Long Beach. John, hello.
Hey, buddy, how are you? Nice to talk to you. You made me hungry. I'm going to have to get some turkey and cook it on the way home. My goodness.
I think that sounds like a plan.
Oh, yeah. Well, I like turkey cooked just about anyway. I've had it every way. I've had the smoked. I love the roasted turkey. And I didn't hear you mention, which I had from some friends a few times, the deep fried turkey.
Oh, that's right. I've only experienced it a couple of times. But yes, that is another way that people do it with the giant vat of oil, a deep fried turkey.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and my wife learned to make this dressing. Her family is from Texas. Now, I never asked her where she got this recipe, but I'm assuming from them for stuffing. And what she does with the stuffing, she does some caramelized onions with some mushrooms and takes some Italian sausage and some regular breakfast sausage in the whole form, like ground beef, and mixes that all together and mixes it into the stuffing. And it is an unbelievable flavor, like no stuffing you've ever tasted. And the stuffing in the turkey, she puts it in with that too. Very, very, very good.
That is my kind of stuffing right there. I never thought mixing the breakfast sausage and the Italian sausage.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now I'm starving, John.
It's very good. And we've been the last few years doing a recipe that somebody turned me on to with homemade, of course, from scratch, au gratin potatoes and when they're just about done, you put some caramelized onions on the top, and then when it comes out, grate up some fresh Parmesan on the top of there. Oh my gosh. The flavor of that is just absolutely phenomenal.
That sounds perfect. I love it, John.
Yes, and I was a cook for many years in my former life. That was my first jobs, and I still love to cook, and I cook all the time. The wife doesn't cook that much. Usually, the joke in our family is, honey, what are we having for dinner? Oh, well, she'll say, well, whatever you're cooking or wherever you're taking me. So, yes, and I'm I'm a member of a 12-step organization, and I have been for 44 years. And every year for the last, this will be the 45th year, we always cook dinner up for 150 to 200 people. And I'm always one of the people in charge of that. And I know, seeing your cooking and knowing you a little bit, that you love to cook, and you love to cook and feed other people, and I do too. There's nothing that I take pleasure in more than cooking, 10 turkeys, hams, roast beef, and it's sort of a potluck thing where people bring sides and different things too. But it's always really, really a great event, and a lot of people get to come down there and spend time with us that don't have families or don't have anywhere to go. And the camaraderie is just amazing. And all of the group that I'm involved with, they've been all excited about it for the last month. And the last week has really been crazy. We have a list of what everybody's going to bring and what everybody's assignments are. And it usually starts, we say 11, but it starts about 12 and usually ends up when all the food is gone. And it's really, really a great time. And I look forward to doing it every year. And I mean, it's really a pleasure and a joy to me to do that. And it's wonderful.
I love that. That's everything that this holiday is about. You are definitely celebrating this thing in spirit the way it's supposed to be. And the look on people's faces when you feed them, there's nothing better than that.
Exactly. And I love it. We'll have people come over for dinner, 10 people, and I cook dinner myself, and I love doing it. And they're always amazed because I worked in restaurants. I know how to get it. The key to cooking is you got to have everything all prepped. The cooking part is not, a lot of it does itself, except things that you have to be there and watch. But if you do it right, I mean, you could cook up a whole really nice meal in a couple of hours or less, no problem at all. And I learned that in restaurants. And as far as the cleaning, I'm a fanatical cleaner because the first restaurants I worked in, the chefs I worked for, and I worked in a couple of really nice dinner houses, they had a saying, if you're leaning, you're cleaning. If you're not doing something that's involved in cooking, you're cleaning something. So I like when I'm cooking and I'm prepping and I'm getting stuff going, I'm cleaning the dishes and cleaning all the pot as I go along, so it's not a big, huge pile of mess when it's all done. And you just have a lot more control over things that way. That's the way I was taught to cook anyway.
I'm the exact same way. It's so important to do, and someone's got to be the person to do it. And I've always, even when I worked in restaurants and I worked at Magic Mountain as a kid in food service, I was always the first one, even when I was a manager, to throw myself onto the dishwasher because that gets everybody home earlier.
Oh, yeah. The first restaurant I worked at, I started at, it was called Anderson's Tally Ho in the city of Lakewood. It was an old style dinner house, the orange booths, the low lit lighting, the prime rib. They used to bring the prime rib cart out like Lowry's and cut it right there. And I worked Saturday days, and I would go in early in the morning on Saturday. They didn't have much of a lunch business, but that's where I learned how to cook because I would help the chef do all of the prep work. We'd cook these big 30-pound prime ribs at $250 after he would crust them all on the outside and just let them cook all day. They made their own. We made our own fresh from scratch blue cheese dressing, ground up the blue cheese in the old Hobart grinder, separated the eggs. You couldn't buy egg whites. You had to separate it by hand with the mayo. They made their own. He would fly these big onions in, Maui onions from Hawaii, fresh onion rings, everything from scratch. He would get a side of beef, cut his own steaks, and all that. So that's basically how I learned to cook, was starting as a dishwasher and helping him. And then as a chef's assistant and a sous chef came along, and I kept working there over the years and ended up being his assistant right before, I started into college. I mean, when I was at the end of high school, I was already working in the kitchen, helping him cook stuff, and I really loved it. And if I hadn't have got into the business I was in, I probably would have stayed in the restaurant and catering business because I love food service so much.
It's really, especially doing it young, it's so important that you develop so many skills for life, and you will have a lifelong respect for everybody that works in that field.
Oh, yes. It's chefs, unless they're big time, they don't make a lot of money, but they work a lot of long hours and they do a lot of hard work. And it's very hot working in those kitchens when you're wearing those long white chef's coats so you don't burn the living daylights out of your arms on stuff. It's very, very hot in a kitchen. Very hot.
It really is, but it is such an important job, and for me, such an appreciated job. Well, John, I am starving now, thanks to you. You have made me do nothing.
All right,
but
my
think
friend.
about food.
Well, you and your wife and your family have a lovely time in Santa Fe, and I will chat with you again, my friend. Thank you.
Thanks for always calling. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, buddy.
All right, bye-bye.
800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. We didn't talk about Thanksgiving wine. That's a big part of this as well. Let's do that next. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. Have I got something exciting for you? 790 KABC welcomes Train, Drops of Jupiter, 25 years in the atmosphere. It's happening at the Greek Theater, August 24th, 2026. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. But right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-790-5222 gets a pair of tickets to the show. It's Train, the 25th anniversary of Drops of Jupiter. Get your tickets now. Tickets furnished by Live Nation. Good luck dialing. So, one of the things that we love about Thanksgiving is a meal where you've got turkey, you've got mashed potatoes. You don't have anything that's extraordinarily spicy on the plate unless you really go for it with those Chipotle sweet potatoes. So the wine doesn't have to be too heavy. In fact, it's the perfect holiday to enjoy Pinot Noir. And what do you know? I literally stand next to a fridge full of 171 bottles, half of them being Pinot Noir. We will be in our suitcase packing a couple of wineskins, not that much wine because we're not drinking as much as we used to, but we're probably definitely going to bring a Fiddlehead. Love my Fiddlehead wines. Kathy Joseph makes the best Pinot Noir money can buy, in my opinion. And the way that she does them, they age longer than any other Pinot you've ever seen. And so last time we went there, we got a 2011 Pinot that was tasting so perfect. We opened one the other night with a friend, and I think we're going to bring that one. Maybe something nicer. My wife also just recently joined Almarosa. Almarosa is where Richard Sanford went after he left Sanford, and now it's a different winemaker, but the wine is so incredible. Their La Encantada vineyard, that's a perfect Pinot. And we've got tons of Fox. We have a Fox and Magnum. Ooh. I might have to figure out how many people are drinking at this because some people aren't, but we have 2 Magnums, which is a double bottle of Foxen John Sebastiano Pinot Noir. I think they're 2017s. Those would be perfect. I got to go see about that. That's a great idea. Although, if there's only like 3 or 4 people drinking, that's a lot of wine that I'm going to have to consume. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. Just a few minutes of the week left together to hang out, and then I'm off to Santa Fe. I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you'd like to email us, you can do so at randywangradio@gmail.com. Chuck writes in on the Big 60. Good job, Randy. May I ask what your main technique for losing weight was? I'm so glad you asked. So, yeah, I'm celebrating this week. I started this weight loss plan in July, and it's just a little more than 4 months later. I think we did it mid-July. Now it's mid-November, and I lost 60 pounds. I worked with this doctor, Dr. Filippini, at Abundant Life Weight Loss. They were an advertiser on the San Francisco station, and it was great. We did genetic testing to find out what were the foods that really slowed me down. And I found out that, well, shocker, fat I don't process very well. Protein I process very well. The coaching, the really important things were logging the food and making sure we weigh how much we were eating. Actually really keeping track and writing down how much you're eating every day makes a massive difference. And just, eating better, eating less, not really exercising too much, but exercising enough. It's all been really important. But here's what I'm going to tell you. After I get off the air here, I'm going to be recording a video about all of this. And I'm going to be premiering and showing off my before and after pictures, which I took yesterday. And they are shocking. Like, I know I dropped some weight, but when you see it every day, it's just kind of gradual. The pictures of me with my shirt off yesterday as compared to me with my shirt off back in July are shocking. So I'm going to be working on that video. I'll probably post it tonight, maybe tomorrow. And if you want to see it, you've got to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you'll get notified as soon as it gets posted. I'll also post it on my socials as well. But I'm trying to get this channel up to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And you can help me out by going to YouTube and searching for the channel Randy Wang Radio. I'll have that video posted. I'll tell you what I can. But if you're interested in this program, they're not currently an advertiser, so I'm not being paid to do this. But I really loved this program. It really worked for me. AbundantLifeWeightLoss.com and Dr. Filippini. I did it all remotely, and it worked really well. And my wife did it too, and she also lost 60 pounds. So a lot of celebrating to get into this holiday season. And it was all totally natural, and it was great. I'm so happy I did it. It was a game changer, and it's one of the things I'm very thankful for this year. But I'll do a whole video about that, and I'll post my before and after pictures on the video, so you can check that out by subscribing to my YouTube channel. That way you'll see the video as soon as it premieres. That's at Randy Wang Radio. That's Randy Wang Radio. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'll see you in December. I know, it's going by quick. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC.